Niclas Füllkrug, what more can I say? It was only a couple of weeks ago when I did a video saying that, Fullkrug's going to be off. I think it looks like he's going to leave. Has he been told he can leave? No, not so much. It was not so much that. But it was more the case that he would have to play second fiddle at West Ham next season. And then what happened was, almost immediately after that, he was dropped for the Man United game, and there was a suspicion then that was possibly just because it was an away game. So maybe because of that, and it worked, and we won 2-0, of course, but maybe away from home we weren't going to play a striker. Well, that was okay because it was going to be a home game that was going to follow, of course, which was going to be, of course, against Nottingham Forest, but he didn't start that one either. And it sort of goes back to, I guess, him calling out his teammates against Southampton, and how he was then dropped for the game after that, which I think was Brighton. And remember Gio saying that he felt he was being punished. And I don't mean immediately after that. Gio said, right when we were doing the build-up show before the game against Forest, Gio said, I think he's being punished. I think he's still being punished. I don't think that's the whole story, but I think my point is there's now more speculation. It would appear to me that Fulkrug is off. He did an interview where he pretty much pledged his future to West Ham. But I think that was caveated. I think there really was a bit of small print there, which was never said, but maybe suggested. And it was very much a case of, look, I didn't join a club at 32 years of age, which is what he is now. He joined us when he was 31, but I didn't join a club at 32 years of age to get a step up, to use it as a stepping stone to bigger things. And I absolutely believe him. I'm here to play football. So it was almost a case of, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to walk away. But I do think the small print on that was predicated upon him playing football. And I did a video, probably, it was just after the Manchester United game, where I said, I'm not sure how long he's going to put up with this. Because he is a big player. He's a good player as well. And I think this is the thing. I've done a whole evolution. I've gone through the whole arc with Niclas Füllkrug. It goes back to me not wanting him, disappointed when we signed him, confused when we signed him, didn't believe it. If you go back and see my videos then, we signed Fulkrug days, and I mean days, after the second failed bid for John Duran. But it didn't look like the John Duran bid was going to be failed, if you remember. Because he did that, do you remember? He did that. Now, he did that because we told his agents, apparently, allegedly, West Ham had told his agents, there was only 3 million in it between what we wanted to pay and what Aston Villa were asking for. But apparently we'd said to the agents, don't worry, we'll sort that out. We'll come to an agreement. Actually, we didn't come to an agreement. So when he did that, when John Duran did that, he didn't think he was going back training at Aston Villa, which makes it a bit awkward, doesn't it? So he had to go back there. He was furious. He was fuming. Anyway, that's a different story. My point is, because we signed Fulkrug only a matter of days after that, I thought the links with Fulkrug were false. I thought West Ham were playing the game. I thought we were saying, oi, right, we're not... I thought we were basically playing possum, and I think we were saying to Aston Villa, we're going to sign this other guy. Aston Villa called our bluff. I didn't think we were going to do it. Aston Villa said, well, go on then. If you don't come up with the 3 million, you're not having Duran. And we did. We went and signed Fullkrug. So I think initially I had disappointment. Then, if you remember, there was a little period. I think he couldn't quite get into the team to start with. He played and he featured in a few games. It didn't look great. Anyway, he got injured. He was injured for a long time. He came back from injury, scored a goal, and then he got injured straight away at the start of Graham Potter's, 13 minutes into Graham Potter's first game as West Ham manager. And then it took a while. So he's been injured all season. I didn't know what we were getting. I didn't really watch him at Dortmund. I didn't watch him play for Germany. In many respects, I seem to know less about Niclas Füllkrug than most other West Ham fans. But that's okay. I'll find out. But I liked what I saw, you know. I liked what I saw with this player. I thought, oh, he's good. I still think he's good. I haven't changed my mind on that. It's not about, this video's not particularly about what I think about Niclas Füllkrug. It's about what I think the club are going to do. He seemed to bring something else to the team. And if nothing else, he got Jarrod Bowen playing back in his favoured position, right? In the position we want to see Jarrod Bowen featuring. Brilliant. But to see him out of the team and to see him, at best, you would have to say, if he remains next season, he's going to be used intermittently by Graham Potter. That's at best. And is he going to put up with that? I don't think he is. So listen, before we dig into that a little bit further, please point in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Surfshark. There's a logo up there, but what there also is a link in the description where you can go and sign up. And the reason you want to use that link, or the discount code, which is HammersChat, all one word, is because it's going to give you 4 months free, plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's a really, really good deal. It's not just for one device, for all your devices. And you're going to need it for all your devices, by the way. Because on your mobile phone, you've got your mobile phone stuff, haven't you? You've got your banking apps. All that stuff can be hacked. All that stuff, if you're on an open network, if you're out in a shopping centre, if you're using a restaurant Wi-Fi, if you're out on 5G, all that stuff, people can get at that. So what you want to do is encrypt all your browsing. That's absolutely crucial. But not just that, you want to be able to change your geolocation as well. So maybe if you're abroad and you want to access some of the content that's back in the UK, then even if you're over in Spain, you can basically trick it, say, no, I'm still back in the UK. But it works the other way as well. So if you're in the UK and you want to access some naughty old content, which you probably can't do because computers, the web, is very good at knowing what your location is, they might say, no, you can't access this because you're in the UK. Click a button, select where you want to view from, and then you can access the content that's available in that country or in that region. The link is in the description below. Discount code HammersChat, all one word, or use that link, which is in a little pop-down menu underneath this screen. Look, Fulkrug is a high-profile player, and I just don't think he's going to sit around and play second fiddle. Whoever we bring in is going to be the main man next season. You bloody hope so, anyway. West Ham are not in a position to get another striker wrong here. Well, I was going to say the form since Potter took over. Let's be fair. All season we've been really, really bad. I can't think of a period where recruitment is more important than it is now. It will literally make the difference between us being okay and us fighting relegation. That's how important it is. I guess it was important before. There's a difference between mid-table and Europe. Oh, well, that's very nice. But West Ham are not a club that can afford to get relegated. No way. No way. You don't want to see... You don't... Listen, nobody wants to see West Ham in a championship, let's be fair. And look, I've seen West Ham be relegated plenty of times, but I have a feeling West Ham relegated in that stadium, there's almost no coming back from that. I really do think that would be absolutely horrendous. So this transfer window is incredibly important. Striker is important. There's no denying Fullkrug's quality, and there is no denying how well he is rated, particularly back in Germany. The only thing is his injuries, and injuries really aren't a problem if you're going to pay the correct amount of money. So injuries are probably a problem when he's your first choice and only striker, and you're paying whatever 27 million that West Ham paid, and we don't have anyone else really. Probably not so much if you get him at a discounted price, and he will be available from West Ham at a discounted price. There's no way we're getting that sort of money. We cannot expect whoever, Wolfsburg or whoever comes in for him, to pay 27 million. They're just not going to. It's going to be under 20 million. I think. Actually, it might be 15 million, something like that. And we might have to just take that on the chin to get his wages off. The alternative is we keep him here, but he is not happy. He is not going to continually want to be played at best every other game. And I do mean at best. I just can't see it. And if I was Jarrod Bowen, I'd be looking at it, I'd be thinking, I'm not sure. Right, Jared Bowen is wonderful. Jared Bowen's going to score goals. Even if Jared Bowen doesn't play well at all, he scores goals. And the truth of the matter is he's not been very good this season, but he's that good. Well, I mean, his performances have not been top level. I don't think he's been playing within a good team, but you know what? He's that good. He'll score goals. That's okay. Bowen's so good at that. But he's going to get fed up being played out of position. And there's a lot of assumption that Jared Bowen won't want to leave. I think there's a difference between asking to leave and wanting to leave. I don't think Jared Bowen would put up with a second season of this. If what happened this season happens next season, I just don't. I don't care who you are. I just think you'll want out. Does he love West Ham? Of course he does. Of course he does. Does he want to play for England? Yeah, of course he does. Does he? He won't be satisfied winning one trophy. He'll want another one, and he's good enough to, by the way. Which I think it makes it really, really important that West Ham do go and get a striker. And I just think that is bad news for Niclas Füllkrug. Not when it was first suggested, because we've heard when Fulkrug first came in at West Ham, we heard he was homesick and he wanted to go back. But since then, I think since he came back from injury, you've thought, okay, this is okay. He's going to give us something. He's committed. He probably doesn't want to go back. And he's looked good. He's looked decent. But I don't see anything in that man or his demeanour that suggests he's going to be happy to stick around and sit on the bench. I really don't think so. And players like that are... You just imagine look, you've got kind of it both ways. He's a German who says what he wants and all the rest of it. He's not going to suddenly become a shrinking violet when it comes to sitting on the bench. He's called his managers out before. We've seen it before. So there's going to be no reason that doesn't happen again. The difference is here, he probably doesn't need to do it at Potter. He could just wait. Just wait for the window. He just can have a quiet word with him and say, I just want out. Let me go. Because it's very hard now for Potter to make the case, oh, actually, I do want you. I do want to play you. Well, actually, he's proved otherwise. And at the very least, he's uncertain about his strikers, Potter, as can be evidenced by Evan Ferguson. But that is a completely different conversation entirely.